This is my first visit and I love it here. It's my kind of city. I've traveled to many different cities around the world. I like the mix of the Asian kind of hustle and the kind of smoothness of what Europe offers. So I'm definitely coming back to Istanbul. Yeah. I'm quite impressed by what's happening in Istanbul overall. I'm actually surprised by the size of the event. I was not expecting there to be so many people. So I'd say that it is something that I would recommend to other people as well who want to access markets both in Europe and Asia. This is a good conference to be at for the connections around that. I think definitely two of them come to mind. I would say Web HR and My Toddler are two startups I think will do some interesting things. There's a few more out there, I think, from the 15 that were selected, I think will do well long term. But overall, I was meeting a lot of other companies in Istanbul who are working in the tech scene, and I think that this is going to be a tech cluster in the next 5 to 10 years. So I run a fleet tracking startup, which is less of a startup right now, back in Canada. We have a base back in India. We've got about 50 employees. We've grown really rapidly. We have exclusive partnerships with telcos like Rogers Telecom and non-exclusive partnerships with Telus Communications back in Canada. We basically work with trucking companies and logistics companies and help them to manage their fleets remotely. We have a few other value-added services that make it easier for them to do this and to get a better ROI. And we are already cash flow positive. We've got revenue from day one basically on this company. And our philosophy has always been to raise as little money as possible to get to that point. So we're not hungry for more investment. We're not trying to seek out more investment. We are aggressively working to maximize the revenue that we can gain on what we currently already have in investment. Yeah. I think that, like I said at the start, there is definitely an Asian hustle in Turkey. You can see that right as soon as you get into a cab, you can sense that you got to negotiate. And I like that kind of vibe. You get that in India, you get that in Asia. I think that Turkey will be well positioned for B2B companies. I think B2C will not necessarily scale as well worldwide from Turkey. There's a lot of cultural differences between what we have here in India and other parts in the West. But I think B2B companies could do very well from here. Turkey has a small market internally, but if companies can build a prototype and scale it to a reasonable size here, they can take that B2B model to other companies around the world. I think that could do quite well for Turkey. My core advice would be, don't raise money unless you really need to raise money, and raise as little as possible. There should be, you should get applause for I only raised 100K or I only raised 25K rather than I raised $5 million. The less you raise, the harder you have to work to make more out of that, and it makes you more robust long term. That's our personal philosophy, and I tell everybody I know to follow the same. Yeah.
Thank you.